I would say to make a change, honestly, it would have to be the youth. The youth does get influenced by older people to change, but ultimately it's the youth that have to change, because you could talk to someone over and over and over again trying to get them changed, but nothing really changes until that person changes. So I would say as youth, we have to make a change in order for it to fully turn, because the elders, they could advise us, but not if we don't change ourselves.
Yes, I agree. I feel like mindset is everything when it comes to this, and it does feel like it's nothing we can do, because there's only so much you can say to someone, there's only so much we can do. Like, they're not listening, they don't care enough to do it. They're already doing all the time, they're just gonna keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. Like, as we say, it's just a never ending cycle until everyone's hurt and everyone's feeling it. And then even then, it still might not change.
Just to double check, that green light is still on that mic. Yes, it is.
Yes.
How have you or someone you know intimately been directly affected by the violence in Bermuda? Has this violence that we've been dealing with touched any of you in that significant way?
Yes, not within the family. It creates, like I said, the thing of heart, obviously despair, and then naturally as humans who don't really register anger like how we're supposed to, it creates this thing of a gap back thing where, because it was a young man and it was his brother, it's about, oh well, we're gonna get back for that, or they're gonna feel that because now you've taken his life, and ultimately it's just hurt, deeply hurt, because you could never bring a life back. And this is why at the conference, the One Life, One Moment, One Chance thing, you really only have 1 minute to think about stuff like that, and there's one chance, and then it's tragedy that you can't reverse. Mm-hmm. Pain like that is irreversible. So it really creates a stuck hole in that person's heart, and sometimes with people like that, it's hard to deter them from those vengeful thoughts because of the pain that they've had to endure. And then it furthers on to where it's this thing where he can't go west, or he can't go this place or that place. And I feel like it's only Bermuda. Why are we making it that? And it don't have to be that. And now he has a son, who his daddy, like I always say, the parents are the first people you look up to. Mm-hmm. So now, what is that creating for him? And this is what we're talking about. If it's not going to be the youth, if it's not going to be the upcoming ones, that it's no. Right. It's inevitable for the upcoming, which is really sad.
I'm talking about the impact that any of this gang violence, any of these direct individuals that have been a part, has it touched any of you?
I guess it could traumatize people, and people don't even know that they're traumatized. Like, because it keeps on happening over and over and over again, it's like, you just think it's like, everybody's starting to think it's normal. Like, even though, yeah, it's sad, it hurts, like, oh, this happened again, or oh, this person got hurt, or whatever the case is. So, it's trauma, and like traumatizing to even end up with that mindset that something so tragic is normal, and it's really
Me personally, I don't know someone personally who's been affected, whose life's been taken. Mm-hmm. But looking at it, hearing about it, seeing people post about it, it's sad. Honestly, like, it touches me. It touches other families who may not know the person, but hearing the stories, it's honestly just sad, and no one wants to deal with that. And then you never know who's next. It's like that's in your head, like who's gonna be next, and it could be someone really close to you, and that's not like a good feeling. That's not, it does make you have your guard up, and makes a skirt.
I would say I've been fortunate enough to not have someone super close have been gotten super close touch me, but I do know of people that I've spoken to before, maybe in school, and things like that. So I would say it's very sad because it cuts people's lives short, especially when the person is really young and you really look back at that person and you say they had a really bright future, and unfortunately it was cut off because of violence, and it was not really anything they could do about it. It wasn't a natural way of them passing. It was like their life was cut short, and it didn't have to be that way because they had a really good future and stuff like that ahead of them that unfortunately it wasn't able.
What do you think the government should do or can do to deter young people from this antisocial behavior? If you had to speak to the premier, the minister, anyone, or even the full cabinet, what might your presentation be?
I would say more things like this, like making people aware and letting the children speak to other children, and even to, like you said, the premier. I feel like we need more support. Like, not there's a lot of people who go through things and they're alone in it. They don't have anybody, and so that could be a reason as to why they're doing what they're doing. They don't have no one to talk to, no advice to get. So I feel like more support from like people who are going through it and people who are closer in age. I feel like no one's gonna listen to older people, but I feel like people who are younger have more influence on us, each other. Exactly.
I would say along with more events like this, the promotion of these events and encouragement from young people to actually attend the events, because I feel like a lot of the events that happen aren't really promoted enough to where a lot more youth could come. I feel like if everyone pushes, even parents pushes the children to come to an event like this or any other events that are related, to at least get their mind open to learning, or because it is learning for some people. Some people, they don't really focus on stuff like this, but to learn and talk about violence and stuff like this is important.
And to add to what these two were saying, it will really have to be a lot of us encouraging it, because pretty much things go off the trends, even anti-social behavior or violence or whatever. You're going off the trend. So if you think, oh, this person or these people were like this, or oh, I'm just doing it because I'm doing it, just doing it because I'm doing it. If it's a lot of us really sitting there and being aware about it and positively trying to fix something, I think that more and more people would
Follow us. Got you.
I think that, as everyone was saying, with support, but I feel like the age whereas this is given, as an opportunity, should start a lot younger. Parents also need to take accountability in their children's lives, because they've been here, they brought them here, so they know what they're bringing their child into. And even as early as primary schools, if you know a child hasn't got the support from a father or the father's there, but they're locked up because of a murder case, or their uncle, and their uncle's their next of kin because their father, all those type of instances, that type of support needs to be given at such an early age, because once you hit a certain age, that's when you start to be defiant or you're headstrong and you don't really want to listen. And you may see events like this in your peers and be like, yeah, well, I'm not doing that just because it needs to be given a lot earlier. So the mindset that we're talking about could be changed or geared in the right direction from early on.
Very impressive. I mean, you try to get to a 10-year-old, even a 10-year-old, and trying to get to a 10-year-old mentally. And if the setting the way is very hard to undo, especially bad behavior. So I appreciate that statement. I I wanted to ask you about the campaign. And you spoke about it earlier. Campaign that you done in school. What did that campaign do for you? Especially, what was the name of the campaign you done?
One Life, One Movement.
What did that do for you?
For me, it opened up my eyes and my heart to feel and see a lot of the things and even past situations from way back in history of violence that were prevalent that I wasn't aware of, and it really made me feel for us Bermudians and the mothers in Bermuda especially. Like, I feel like Bermuda has, I don't know if it's recognized, but Bermuda has this atmosphere over it completely where it's like now it's this set thing where, like, so now I was saying some things are such a norm now and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be. We're used to hearing traumatic stuff and pushing it to the side as if it's a bill or something that we don't want to attend to, but it really needs, like, it needs dire attention, like, immediately. So the campaign for me, like, I was actually standing on stage and listening to other people's, trying not to cry, because I was hurt and I was moved and it felt inspirational and sad at all at the same time. Seeing some of the victims' parents sit in there and they were bawling, and the judges, some of the police constables didn't even know how to react to our campaigns. They didn't know how to answer questions yet. They were sitting there, I could tell, in pondering, in thought, just trying to figure out what's the next step. And I feel like seeing those expressions and hearing everybody allowed me to see, like, we're really stuck, and we, like, as Bermuda, need to figure out how to move forward because no one really knows. Everyone knows the issues that are prevailing and that are present, but we don't know how to move forward. So that's what I really realized as a teen, because on my day-to-day life, that's not something I think about. So the campaign was really an eye-opener for that, for me.
And I saw it. It's a part of it there. Okay, right along. How can young adults be included in designing and leading solutions to these issues that we're talking about? How can young adults, 16, 18, 20s?
I would start off with just the schooling. That is how we get to people close and personal, especially in those age ranges, there's schools. And also, another thing that I wanted to touch on was include the compromised institutions like the Success Academies, include everybody, because those are still students, and usually those are the ones that need to really feel the support and understand that even though you're not a part of the public system,
mainstream, that's right,
still sports, you're still included and you're still Bermuda's youth, and they most times need to feel just the same amount of support we're getting and love and feel like they're in the same circle as everyone else.
Good stuff.
I agree. I feel like those schools as well as private schools, because it's happening everywhere. Like I can speak from experience. Going into Sultans, I feel like no one really knows. Like they don't really. They heard something, but it's like, oh, like, you know, they don't really know. So I feel like everyone needs to come together in the school, and I feel like us, like, talking about it, and maybe not so much like school speak, like coming from school, because I feel like a lot of students don't want to hear the teachers talking. They don't want to hear, like, they don't really. I would say that some students don't respect the teachers, but they don't. They don't want to hear it. They're not going to sit in an assembly listening to it. They're going to call it boring. They're going to do that, do this, do that. I feel like hearing it from us, like someone said with the trans, like, they would listen. If I'm, like, we're all friends, I bring my friends along, they're going to come, and then that's how people would be aware of it and stuff.
I would say, along with the different schools, the different type of people, I find that when issues and stuff like this is being brought to attention, instead of pulling everyone, they just pull the negative students and only talk to them. But as someone who wasn't really a part of that crowd, it wasn't until I started interning her at the Office of Youth Affairs to where I actually saw that I as being a good student, I was still in a bubble because I wasn't really exposed or affected to the different things that happen around our programs, presentations, because I find that they only pull the students that are at trouble in one sense. But I was if you pull everyone, it gets everyone's attention instead of just those
Special needs.
special students.
Yeah.
I would say those are the connections between schools. Is kind of a gap where
More interaction should be with the schools.
more interaction should be with
All the
and
schools.
we've actually had students propose this idea to us because a lot of private students feel out of touch. They don't have that connection with
Public.
students. And it could, a lot of times it's the stereotype, and a lot of times it's just that they're not experts. They may want to be experts, but they're just not experts because they don't have those type of interactions with other students. So I would say something like that as well.
And then on top of that, the feeling of neglect and isolation, it could lead to like animosity or even like just a negative outcome.
You spoke of the lack of respect that some students have towards their teachers. Can you go as far as to say that you think it's a lack of respect for even the parents?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say yes. It goes back to the mindset. You have a lot of people that would actually be open to the parents and say, you know, I do this in school, I do that. Or there's a lot of people that the parents know and they just don't do anything about it because, I don't know, they just feel like it's not important when it is. And if someone don't respect the parents, or they feel like instead of looking at the parents as a parent figure, they look at them as a friend. So they don't respect other people because they essentially don't view the parents as an ally that they should respect.
And then even being disrespectful to a teacher, for instance, everybody knows you're disrespectful to a teacher is gonna get back to your parents. So like, me personally, I'm not gonna disrespect my teacher because I'm scared of what happens when I get home in person. More and more times, it's like nobody cares, nobody's scared to go to my mouth. So just the parents are agreeing with the kids' behavior or whatever the case is.
And just to backtrack on what they said, I'm in agreement totally, but we also have to look at the teachers. Sometimes their authority, they play around with it a bit, and I think that
Abuse it.
yes, they definitely abuse it, and sometimes they forget the fact that although there should be a respect established with elders and children always,
Good for it.
there should always be respect in both ways, because
stuff.
sometimes teachers are not always having good days, or it's just they just come into work because this is what they gotta do, they got bills to pay, stuff that children shouldn't have to be a part of. You shouldn't bring issues onto other people, especially if you're coming into a learning environment where these students are thriving off of you and your energy first thing in the morning, because I don't want to be here really either. And sometimes I've seen where students could simply just ask a question and the teacher will give attitude back, and it's understood that the student's not supposed to say nothing or not supposed to check the teacher on their out of alignment because that's their elder in the classroom or that's the teacher. And I feel like teachers have to take accountability sometimes. You are wrong, your tone was off and you was being rude, and it's that simple. But I feel like backtracking off of what everyone was saying with the at-home thing, if you don't respect your parents, it's evident when you go to school. And even if the teacher is correcting when they come at you, and you choose to disrespect the teacher, it just goes to show how much you really respect your parents or what they allow at home.
Yes, I feel like respect is a big thing, and sometimes they don't respect the teachers, they don't respect the parents, but they don't respect themselves either, and it definitely should.
One thing I would also say is also not respect between you. Well, it is respect between you and others, but it's others, respect with others and other adults as well. I feel like you have a lot of parents that would approach a situation about their child in the wrong way. So if the adult showcases them maybe not calmly going about a problem with another adult, kind of screaming and carrying and acting out, if the child sees that, the child's not going to see that is something wrong with that. So I also think it's respect with youth and others as well as others and others, just respect to everyone in general.
Let's talk about the mental health issues, and we see that more and more. Do you talk about that in school? Some of the mental health challenges that your peers might be going through? Do you see it in school as a first thing?
I feel like the option is there. It may not always be fully advocated that, you know, you can go to this or you do have this option to reach out. Other than going to your counselor, I feel like it's maybe not showcased a lot, mainly because a lot of people or adults don't take mental health serious. I feel like they will just tell a child maybe to be dramatic or it's just life or something like that. When for the most cases, yes, it is life. A lot of people it's going to happen, but I feel like in order to change that, you have to speak about it or look at it on a different angle instead of just the harsh angle, the harsh reality of it, I guess.
Yes, I agree. I feel like dealing with mental health is very hard. I feel like it's students, like even parents, feel like they have to hold it all in and they have nobody to talk to when they do. And I feel like in schools, the option is there, but you don't want to talk to someone that sometimes you're going to see every day. But some people don't have the parents to talk to. They don't want to talk to their parents about things that may be going on in their life if they're not that close with their parents. And I feel like they might hold it all in and then it affects them. It affects everyone around them. It affects, just like everybody. And I feel like it's something that they should talk about.
I agree, but I feel like older people, like I always said, they think it's traumatic, but they think it's just stuff like stress or like really crazy stuff that kids are talking about that they're going through. But it's not always that. Like it could simply be anxiety or overthinking. Like it could be anything, and you can't you can't overlook it. Like things just happen. Like they just happen. So I feel like people just need to understand that life happens, because they could see that life happens for them, but times have changed, so like not everybody could really take in the same amount of stuff.
And just to piggyback on what Samar said, like they understand that life happens for them with regard to parents, and I feel like nowadays, because parents have to do what they have to do because that's your job as a parent, they overlook the fact that children are going through things too. They have upcoming issues, and most of the time, a lot of issues that kids have, they don't disclose, not even the half of it with their parents, and they're serious issues. And I feel like parents don't think it's serious because of the difference. Like, oh, you're a parent, I'm gonna pay this bill, all you gotta do is go to school. You can't compare issues because each person is different as about how they deal with it. So to your parent, it may be minor, but to you, it's affecting your everyday life and your mental and how you perform in class. It's really affecting you, and you can't get over it. And also another big thing is there's a whole other issue. It's parents themselves with their trauma and their unavailability emotionally. So they can tap in like that. If you talk to them, some parents, like it's actually a thing where they won't be able to help you because they've got their own issues that they didn't tap into years ago. So it's like, no, they're just, like they said, like, they don't think it's that serious, or they don't take it on because that's their negligence towards you because of their issues from way back, and that's another issue that they need to take accountability for. Like, you're not perfect, and you have gaps as well that you need to address before I can confide in you and look for support.
Also, a lot of parents, they like had childhood trauma.
Mhm.
So it's like most parents try everything not to be like how their parent was,
Mm.
but that's not always a good.
Can't get away from it.
That's exactly how they end
Yeah,
up.
it's like they end up in the same way. They don't even see it themselves as I see it. They don't see it
So
themselves.
true, so true.
But like even when they really are like switching it or not doing the same thing, sometimes what their parents was doing was actually the right thing. But it's like being strict, for instance. Just because your mom was strict, no, you're absolutely not strict. But you don't have to be absolutely not. Like you could be some. Like just gotta find the right amount.
Fine balance.
Yeah, find the balance. And wait, there was one more thing. Hold on, come back to me.
I feel like, yes, so everyone goes through what they go through, and I feel like parents, especially, like they say it, have been through things, and I feel like maybe a solution could be, maybe the parents talk it to their children about it, because they might feel like, oh, they have no one to do in it all, and especially single parents. They might feel like, oh, they're doing it all by themselves, and they deal with so much from the past now, like this, and they're still going through it. And I feel like the children might be struggling too. They don't even realize it, and then it's just become like something for them, and then something they'll bring it on to their children.
I would say, to just add on to what everyone's saying, it's really just the mindset of a lot of people have say, well, I went through this, I got over it, so you will
get
too.
it. Mm.
But I feel like in order to change the cycle that keeps on happening, because a lot of times the parents want to say that to their child, and then when that child gets older, it's the same thing. Well, I went through it, you get it. So I feel like the only way to change that is to actually help. Because without helping, the cycle is just going to keep on repeating and repeating and repeating itself.
Yes, I agree.
I want to ask you, since we're talking about mental health and challenges, in any of your groups, classes, have you talked about suicide? Because it is a very pregnant
You said in school, have you talked?
in school, in special sessions in class. Has that topic ever been spoken about?
Honestly, I feel like it has.
And what's your thoughts?
I feel like it has when we were a bit younger, maybe when it's been, something that comes up, but people don't really talk, like they joke about it. Like, I feel like they don't take it seriously, even though some children may feel like they do want to, but I feel like, we don't talk about it, and I feel like it is something that should be talked about because a lot of people feel that way.
To my knowledge or my memory, it's not something that's talked about. And if it was, then I'm just forgetting. It clearly wasn't talked about enough to have an impact on me. I do remember one kind of big talk when I was in middle school about suicide, but that was kind of the demonstrates to reach out. And I think that really had an impact on me because that kind of opened my eyes towards it. But after that, it wasn't really much as to like when it came to school or anything like that. No, it wasn't any type of talk about suicide. I know it is a touchy subject, so it might be hard to approach, but I still think that is a tough subject that should be touched.
Yes, exactly. People don't want to talk about the hard things, and that's really what it comes down to. No one wants to talk about it, but it should be talked about.
I have had discussions about, parent discussions about suicide. I had school assembly where they actually brought someone came to our assembly and was like talking about how their son killed themselves. And she was there telling the story, and it just made me realize that like you really never know what people's going through. Like you could be like we could be all here sitting right now and somebody can do that kind of stuff. They could really be going through a lot. So it's just always good to really act and make sure somebody's okay and like check on them as well.
Good stuff. What can be created? What type of entertainment do you all do socially? That's the first question. What do you do socially for entertainment?
TikTok.
TikTok.
Instagram.
Everyone over TikTok right now.
Yes. You need to go watch it for like reels. Like Instagram reels about this stuff.
So you guys want to make a TikTok?
No, we can. We're gonna make a TikTok for you guys.
What can be created to entertain youth? What can society, the government, everyone on the whole do to help to entertain our young people?
I remember seeing a video a couple weeks ago. I think he was, I don't know, but I think it was like Balti. I feel like everyone reposting that. I feel like that was on Instagrams. It was on like a bunch of people's stories. I feel like things that you're able to repost and spread the word about anything. I feel like that is
Content creation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say with this generation right now, social media, everyone has a phone, everyone has access to the internet, everyone has a social media account. So I feel like social media, as well as events, a lot of people do want to attend events, and when it is, they can.
I feel like, we have to use what's being basically abused, which is TikTok and social media. As much as it could have its downsides, that's what you can get everyone away from. When people leave work to go pick up lunch, they go on TikTok and scroll through 10 videos unconsciously before they even realizing it. And they could be like me. Sometimes I find myself laughing out loud in public, not even realizing that I'm zoomed out on TikTok for an hour. So it can be unhealthy at times, but we have to use our resources that are in front of us, that people, as much as people, they may not choose to pay attention to it or thrive on it, but I promise you, everyone at least thinks about the video that they've seen or video that catches their attention, and it'll sit at the back of their mind. They'll remember it a few days later. So I feel like that, as well as on the flip side, trying to get people off of the fence sometimes and interact with each other and understand that when you realize that you could do something and interact with a group of people that keep you off of your phone for a certain amount of time, that's how you know that's a positive. That's something purposeful, but I feel like the question is just what type of interaction, what would that look like? I feel like that's what we need to figure out, but I feel like those two approaches would definitely show some sort of change or push forward eventually.
To add on, the Office of Youth First is actually hosting an event this Sunday at Per 6. It's a 18 plus youth conference, but ages 16 can come, so 16 and up. This is Sunday. There's going to be a panel discussion talking about antisocial behavior and violence, as well as mental health. There'll be games, prizes, an after party, there's like a brunch as well. So I would encourage everyone that's my age or younger to come to the event. You could register at www.toya.com.bm, toyaevents.bm. Sorry, that's a mistake. I'm just going to repeat it. www.toyaevents.bm. And parents, I would encourage your young folks to come as well, because it's going to be a good event. We're going to have some good discussions that will really open eyes to everyone, hopefully my age, to help change how help us make this change, and the road to be prizes.
I want to ask you one last question before we conclude. What type of relationship do you have with either your mother or your father? Can you be 100% open with any of your parents? Or do you have that person that you can be totally real, raw, and real with?
I would say yes, I have that relationship with both of my parents. It's not too far where it's that friend relationship, but it is that parent relationship where I feel I can openly talk to my mother or my father about any issue that I have or anything else, as well as my older sister. So I do feel like I have those people I can talk to.
I have a very good relationship with both of my parents, actually. And I have a really large family. And the type of family I have, everybody's open with each other. And we all trust each other fully. So, yes, I can say anything. I can express anything to anybody in my family. There's always somebody around. And that's why I think that I am so positive and mentally great.
Good stuff.
Yes, and I will admit that it took time to get to that point because of obviously everyone has their issues, and as a, I don't know about anyone else, but as a teenage girl, you know, you have that thing with your mama and your daddy and certain things. You disclose with your mother first and you water it down, and then you get to your daddy afterwards, and then you take time and let her react. But I feel like as of right now, I feel like sometimes I have to admit to myself, regardless if I'm going to like the reaction of theirs or not, I have to be open because it could be, they're here for support and safety. So sometimes I could tell them and I think that they might react that way, and that's just me overthinking. But they actually give support and comfort and show that it's normal. And I also have an older sister who is actually more stern than my parents. Sometimes I get backlash and I have to remind her that she's not far from me. But nevertheless, I feel like I've definitely got that established to a respectable point. Like I always said, it's not a friendship. It's just a place for disclosure and comfort and safety.
I do agree. It's really not a friendship. But I love the fact that I am able to have my whole family and like a lot of different people that I could confide in, because sometimes it could be people in the family or my parents causing the stress. So you can't really talk to them about, you can't talk to them about them. But
That's deep.
parents are a little bipolar sometimes. But yeah, it's good to have a lot of people to talk to. Even just friends, like it's good to choose your friends wisely as well, because I have a small friend group, but everybody in that small friend group, I like being able to know that I have all of them the whole time. Are you done?
Before we close, any last words to your fan base, to the young
For
people?
watching, we're about to go make you a TikTok now, so stay tuned.
And I hope you're not just looking and observing and saying, it's that them girls, that's Solange, Jess, no, we're not hurtfully fame any social part of it. Please don't just stare. We want you to listen, observe, and take it forward. Like big thing. We want you to ponder. We want to get your brain scared and keep you up at night with what we just said. And please,
Come on, Sandy.
please be open and yes, come on Sunday.
Remember
Come on
this.
Sunday.
We will be back, guys.
Yes.
We would also be at Western Cunningham, and we would actually be partnered with Big Boat TV. Everyone is so really funny, so I think you should come out and really interact with us.
So we want to thank these young ladies for a brilliant discussion. I hope that for those that are viewing and those that will view, that it would open up your mind, and I mean, it's done it for me, because the only thing that happens in life is change, and we have to change with our young people. Parents, grandparents, you have to change. Social media, age of technology is leaps and bounds. So I want to thank you for open discussion. Thank you for the input, young ladies. And we'll see you on Sunday night, Sunday afternoon. Bring your friends, invite your friends. All the best. Thank you from the director here. We want to thank you for viewing. Thank you for joining us. If you have any concerns, feel free to reach out to Miss.
Soltis.
Hang, I'll let her say it. Just talk.
You can't see me, but Tiana Soltis, the National Youth Engagement Officer. And first and foremost, I want to thank these 4 young ladies for being a part of this event. 2 of them didn't even realize that they were going to be a part of them, and I am so proud of all 4 of you, especially my one that was like, no way, you did amazing, baby. But yes, if you have any questions or concerns or want to share any information or receive any information, all Toya events could be found on www.toyaevents.bm or events for the rest of the week. You can also register for our conference at toyaevents.bm, or you can email me directly. My email is tpsoltis@gov.bm. And my cellular phone number is 734-2960. You can give me a call if need be.
So let's get for those that, we're going to start from that end, just going to say who you are. For those individuals that were watching, say your names again. I know your names were said from the top. It's the last thing you're going to say. Tell us who you are again.
My name is Ira Golden.
My name is Jaya Dillis.
I'm Sonal Grant.
I'm Casimir Cox.
Thank you for watching this brilliant discussion. Bermuda, be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you drink water. That's a fam calling you. If you drink, make sure you have a designated driver. Please be safe. Have a good evening.